Okay, why don't we get started? It's been like 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure everyone that is actually cooking is probably going to be here. So, first step, let's preheat your oven to fan force about 200 degrees. And let that heat whilst we get on to the rest of the ingredients. Food, okay, yes, Caroline, let's get some food. So, we'll start off with cooking the sauce. So, turn the hob on high heat. And put some oil, and we'll let the oil heat up for a while. And then we're going to put our veggies into the oven dish. So if you're not using an oven dish, you can put the veggies... Oh yeah, it's 200 degrees Celsius. Centigrade? Celsius. But I will actually say at this point that every oven is slightly different. So if you don't know how hot your oven runs, make sure you keep checking back to make sure you're not burning anything. So in the baking dish, thank you Caroline, it did take me a good amount of time. So chuck all the chopped veggies into the oven dish, cover them in olive oil, mix it around with your clean hands that don't have COVID-19 on them. Make sure it's a decent amount of oil to get like some good cooking. Obviously it's less healthy, so you're free to do whatever you prefer there. But I would recommend quite a bit of oil. Get some salt over it. Again, reasonable amount to make sure we have enough flavour. That wrist action. Okay, Will, sure, whatever. Okay, so now if we head back to the stove, the oil that we put in the pan will be reasonably hot. Turn the gas down so that we don't accidentally burn anything. And chop your onions and garlic into the pan. Covid courgettes, I like that. I might coin that phrase. I'll give you credit for it. So turn the heat down on the hob. Get your onions and garlic in and just slowly cook them for a few minutes until a golden brown. And I'm going to turn the extractor fan on low, so hopefully you can still hear me. And apparently fling all the ingredients out of the pan at the same time. I promise I'm not usually this unskilled. Oh, Tayo, you're watching. Hey, Tayo, how are you? I hope you're well. We miss you in Academy. So cooking the onions and garlic quite slowly on a reasonably low heat. We don't want to burn anything. Just like that. Oh, Tayo's getting more love than me. Everyone misses you. I'm going to pick up the things that fell down. My clean kitchen so I can pick stuff off the surfaces. So we'll let the onions and garlic go for a bit and just make sure we don't accidentally burn anything. Check back on the oven, and it doesn't need to be completely heated up. Thank you, Sam. I agree, you do need to let the onions sit for a while. Thank you, Caroline. So we'll just let the onions and garlic go in the pan for a while. And now once the oven is sort of almost, it doesn't need to be completely hot at 200, but sort of getting on there, we'll put the veggies in. Make sure they're nice and flat in the oven dish. Or if you don't have one, chuck the veggies into the pan at this point to make sure that they get enough cooking. I won't put a timer on just because Sam, maybe you should have offered to do this. But thank you for the tip. I'm going to continue stirring because that's how I cook. So once you put the veggies in the oven, you don't really need to put a timer on, just because we're going to go off how long it takes the rest of the sauce and the pasta to cook as to how long the veggies need. But make sure you keep checking back regularly so that you don't accidentally burn anything. Where's the heckle button, Alfred? That's what the comments are for. Alf, the rest of your house is cooking along. What are you up to? Are you joining them, or is it too much for you? How long in the oven? Which veggies in the oven? Everything that's not onions and garlic in the oven. So courgette, peppers, and aubergine. So one of each. And yeah, it'll be about 15 minutes in the oven, but it doesn't matter too much as long as they don't burn. It'll just be sort of the same amount of time that we cook the sauce for. So now that the onions and garlic have gone for a bit, I'll put a little bit more oil in just to keep it cooking well. And now we're going to put the chopped chorizo in. I tried to do this in the smallest pieces possible so that the flavour really goes throughout the whole of the dish. So chop the chorizo in and just keep stirring. Turn the heat up a little bit and stir until it's all mixed in together. Make sure it's nicely coated in the oil so that the flavour from the chorizo gets into the onion and garlic. Put a bit more oil in. You don't need to put more oil in if you don't want to. I just like the taste, and I think it will help. I understand it's the healthiest thing in the world. So we'll just let that sit for a while on relatively low heat, and then to just make sure that the chorizo flavors go through the onion and everything. And we'll also boil the kettle now. Life hack that I learned when I moved to London is to cook pasta with water boiled from a kettle as opposed to waiting for it to heat up on the stove, which I did not know until I moved here. Thank you, Teo. Thank you for your birthday wishes. Thank you, Caroline and Chris. I'm glad you think it looks yummy. Turn the heat down again. Steve, do you want to jump on camera? Anyone? Should we have a chat? See how you're faring? No, Steve's gone away. What about Will? Will, do you want to come on? No, he's back. Okay.
I won't lie, I'm a little bit behind.
Okay, I'll slow down. We need to wait for ages now anyway. It's not going to affect it too much, so we should be fine.
Alright. I'll be with you soon.
Okay. Okay, we're good. Should we go back? Yeah, I know, it's a bit of an inception, but otherwise I can't read the comments, so. Yes, Tay, I did almost say happy birthday back. I'm sorry, I'm not concentrating that well on everything right now. So, we'll start the process of cooking the pasta. So, hack I learned from Steve Payne the other day is actually putting the 500 grams of penne in the pan first and then pouring boiling water over that, which I've never done before. I always boil the water first, but there you go. That's something you can do. So that's about, metrically, about 1.5 over liters of water on the pasta, and then a dash of olive oil and some salt. The video isn't working anymore. Which bit will? Oh no, he's back. Will, can you see me again? Cool. So we'll just stir the pasta. And I forgot to turn the pasta hob on, so well done me. But anyway, give it a little bit of a stir and just leave it to cook for about 10 minutes. Hey Caroline, I'm glad. We'll stay slow so that we don't go too far. Solly. That shade, Solly. So we'll just leave the pan going relatively slowly. The longer we cook this, the nicer it's going to taste. So we want to leave it for as long as we can. Stir the pasta every few minutes just to make sure that it's cooking evenly. But other than that, not much to do there. And we'll just let that sit for a few minutes before we put the tomato sauce in, but we'll be doing that soon. Does anyone have any questions? Will, okay, Will, come in now. We got some extra time. $22 people's not bad. Thank you, 22 people, for choosing to do this on your Wednesday night. How? You need to request to be in the video. It's a button in the corner. Steve will be able to tell you how to do it. Oh, there we go. It worked. Well done.
Evening.
How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're really quiet.
Oh, okay. I'll just move close. I'll move closer. How are you? How's George?
Yeah, good. He's in his room. The others are all practicing for their auditions and stuff.
Are you no longer cooking together anymore?
No, so I'm cooking for everybody tonight. All 5 of us.
Oh, fair enough. Lucky them. I'll claim sole credit, obviously, because I designed
You're really
the rest.
quiet, Dan.
Okay, well, I'll yell, or it doesn't really matter. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the support. And I'm going to get back and put the tomatoes into the sauce, so
Yeah.
I'll see you later. Where's the heckle button Al suggested?
That looks tasty.
Yeah, Al, I'm kind of with you on that. I didn't actually choose for us to start at 7:30. We all thought yours, Will, his Latham one. Okay. I think we can kick Will out again, no offense. But the camera's on the wrong side and you can't hear me, so it's not particularly helpful.
See, how do I get out?
We'll kick you out, it's okay.
Thanks.
I think. Or you can leave. Okay, so now we're going to put the chopped tomatoes into the sauce. So, 2 cans, make sure you get all of it out. Yes, Stan, the pasta's in, so just put it in when you can, but don't worry too much about the time. We can adjust everything later, so no rush. Thank you, Alf. Okay, so 1 tin of tomatoes, 2nd tin of tomatoes. Make sure it's all out. And we'll stir that in with the chorizo and onion and garlic. Do you do deliveries? I thought this wasn't meant to be personal, Chris. No, unfortunately not at this stage, although maybe I should, given the lack of public events right now. Maybe I should start a business. Okay, so once the tomatoes stirred into the sauce, then we can just let it sit. Turn the heat up a little bit for a while to reduce the tomato sauce and make sure the flavor is really coming through. Get a contract with Just Eat. You know what? If they want to pay me to cook, then maybe I will. No, but he does do nice things on Saturdays. Yes, Solly. We're trying to keep it wider audience, but thank you. Thank you for the support. Taylor, stop talking in Swedish. I can't understand what you're saying. Okay, so we'll leave the sauce for a while. We'll turn the heat up a little bit to reduce it. Give the pasta another stir. Make sure that it's not clumping together or anything like that. The pasta, we don't need to worry too much about it because once it's cooked, we can drain it and then we can just let it sit because it's not going to go cold and it's going to be rebaked in the oven anyway. Hi Brenna, hi Ellie, how are you? So we'll just check on the veggies. to make sure that they're not burning, which they're not. My oven light doesn't work, so I hope you can relatively see what's going on in there. So we'll give them a few more minutes, and then we'll give them a turn in the oven just to make sure that they're cooking nice and evenly. But no rush. Thanks, Alfred. I'll take his feedback on board. I decided to channel his tea towel over the shoulder look, so you know what. I appreciate any feedback from Sir Ramsey. Anyone else have any questions, comments? Thank you for using plastic utensils. Yes, I don't want to break any of my pots or pans, so that's why I'm using plastic utensils. Would highly recommend, just don't accidentally leave them in the pot whilst you're cooking. I don't have to get triggered now with metal on non-stick. Yeah, it's okay, Caroline. We wouldn't be doing that. We're slightly more professional than that, albeit not really professional, but better than that. So we're all good. Great camera work. Thank you, camera woman. We appreciate. Thank you, Will. We appreciate your feedback, feedback. Like we're doing this again. I thought you were doing the next one, William. Julia, something about are you hungry or you are hungry? I don't know what you said, but I hope you're cooking something or you get to eat at least. Okay, so now we're going to turn the veggies in the oven tray just to make sure that they're getting cooked evenly. Take it out. You can use the same spoon as other things. And just turn it nice, even it out on the tray. Chuck it back in the oven. Obviously, if it's getting too burnt or anything like that. Is this my recipe? It's sort of my recipe. I looked at about 4 and none of them had the exact ingredients that I wanted to use. So I took the 4 different recipes and the methods and sort of combined them. Hey Octave, how are you? Hope you're well. Long time no see. Caroline, your cooking's being insulted. 0 out of 10, I can't see an Apple Pencil to complete the aesthetic. Look, you know what? The Apple Pencil's on the sofa behind the camera because you don't need an Apple Pencil to reply to comments on a live stream. Can you start a Twitch channel? Look, I would love to. But I don't really think the Academy has much spare time, leaves much spare time for students to start Twitch. I will report this comment. Yeah, okay, fair enough, sorry. Caroline and Anthony, aren't you guys in the same place? Now I have to open the fridge. Oh, thank you. I'm glad this is making you hungry. That's what we like to do, encourage good eating. I mean, I don't know what you're going to eat, but at least I can cook something other than rice. Caroline, let's try and keep it PG now. Yeah, we can get, can you do a deep fried Mars bar? I would love to. Yeah, Anthony, I have my colander over here just to satisfy everyone. Awesome haggis. Haggis is a no from me. Chris, if you want that, you'll have to cook it yourself. Deep fried Mars bar, to be fair, I'm sure would be great. Although what I did actually eat is, as of growing up, is Mars bar apples, which is where you core an apple and put a Mars bar through the middle of an apple and then bake them. So that was nice. Do some pancakes. Yeah, pancakes. Can do that. Don't know how regularly we'll be doing it. He wants to do a brunch tutorial, so maybe that will be something for the future. So stir the pasta a little bit. Make sure it's not clumped together, and that looks like almost ready. So we'll probably get that out later. Do a tam tam. You mean a Tim Tam? Tam, probably not what you mean, Chris. Tim Tam apple. Yeah, rate some Tim Tams. I've got quite a few. I bought quite a few back with me. Crumpet. so I need to stay true to my Australian heritage. I'm sure Steve or Caroline could do that. I am kidding, of course. There's no space for my pasta in the baking dishes. Then you can just cook the sauce again, and vegetables in the sauce, and put the pasta through a colander, and then just serve it like that. You don't need to bake it. It's okay, Caroline. I know you weren't being offensive. Who needs? Yeah, okay. Sorry, this is my cooking done for the week. I'm not going to be cooking again. Caroline, do you want to jump into the video, or are you not in a position to do that? Do you want to say hi? Oh, getting lots of compliments for the camera. Okay, let's say hi. Oh, Anna, what a good question. I'll answer it in 1 second. I won't forget that one. It's Caroline. No? Okay. Anna's recipes would be not baked. Curry, so Thai green curry or normal Indian curry, you can just make it with the pre-bought jar sauce, which I know is not authentic, but it's nice and quick and easy. Okay, cool, Caroline. What are my other go-to student recipes? Trying to think. Salad is always good. I know I eat probably more salad than most, given this is a cold country. But Caesar salad with chicken is always nice. We'll say hi to Caroline. Hopefully she can hear me better than Will can. Oh, almost. Hey Caroline, how are you?
Hi.
How's the cooking going? You must be a bit behind. I'm sure it'll be reasonably straightforward for you to catch up. Now I can't hear you at all. Okay, Anthony's definitely talking in the background. Okay, what's pesto pasta? Thank you, Steve. That's very true. Pesto pasta is always a winner. You can, if you can, making your own pesto. It's actually really cheap if you buy the basil from like a supermarket and just blend it up. Oh, you got a lot of love there. Anyway. Also for breakfast, is always good. I like bit of a rogue one, but it gives you more energy. Anything with yogurt, and I'm going to make a point of saying yogurt just to aggravate all the Brits on here. Okay, I think the pasta's done now. Don't want to overcook it. Let's check. We'll check first. Yeah, the pasta's done. So I won't say your pasta now because everyone probably started at different points, but I'm sure you all know how to cook pasta, and if not, usually about 8 to 10 minutes for penne. Get the bits stuck to the bottom, so I didn't put enough water in. Okay, so we'll just leave the pasta for now. It's not going anywhere, and it's not going to cool down. Don't need to worry too much about that. Yeah, pesto pasta. Pesto pasta's a good one. Is Caroline still here? Okay. Okay, give the sauce a taste at this point to make sure see whether you need to add any salt or pepper. Don't burn your tongue. Nah, fair enough, Caroline. You need to cook. So hopefully the chorizo will add enough salt into the recipe so that you don't actually need to add any more, which is part of the reason I used it, because chopped tomatoes don't have that much flavor. So adding a little bit of something, but if you didn't use chorizo or just veggies or anything, maybe adding a little bit of salt, but obviously that's up to the individual. We'll check the veggies again, make sure they're not burning, but we can slow down and leave everything for a while. Yeah, so veggies are fine, nothing's burning. So we'll just leave everything going. Any more questions from anyone? Comments, feedback? I'll take on anything you might have to say. Oh, look, Leo's here. Hey, Leo. How was your practice session? I'm glad you made it home safely. Oh, hi, George. How are you? Happy anniversary, George Strivens, Gillen Eckersley. Shout out there. The second most important event that happens on September the 9th every year. So, Steve, give me a heads up on how you're going with the progress. Steve or Caroline? Well, Caroline started a bit late, so Steve or Jan, give me a update on how you guys are going. Should we stop for a while? Should we keep going? How's things? Thank you, George. Thank you for tuning in, Solly. Caroline, unfortunately, that's a negative. I've asked. Chopping onions. Gordon Ramsay has a better accent. I don't know, that's debatable. Yes, chopping onions, that Gordon Ramsay trick. I'm not very good at it myself, but if you Google Gordon Ramsay onions, he's given a very good tip on how to chop onions without making you cry. And as Naori will attest to, I failed at doing that when I was chopping onions today. So we'll just Google Gordon Ramsay onions. Will's going well. Jan says you're hungry. I'm also hungry. How are you going in the progress? Can we assemble everything, or should we give it a while? Also, the difference between Gordon Ramsay nights is I don't have a multi-million-dollar house in Cornwall that I went to during lockdown. Is it ready yet? What else would I put in the dish if I could? That's a very good question, Caroline. I would have said, especially if I'm not using any meat, I would have said mushrooms are a really good one, or other colors of peppers, or more peppers, or what else? They're the best things. You could put in things like sweet potato, but they need to roast for a bit longer. So I would say definitely mushrooms. Don't chop off the root. Yeah, that's how you chop the onion without making it cry. You can't chop off the root. Yes, please. Okay, let's move on. So to start with, we'll get the dish of the veggies out of the oven. Chuck it on there. Shut the oven and turn the heat down to 180 degrees Celsius. So we just want to make sure that we don't accidentally burn the top of the pasta when we put it in. So turn it down to 180, and then come back over to the veggies. Give them a stir. Make sure they're well cooked. We cut them quite small specifically so that they would cook through in the roasting dish. Otherwise, it would take way longer. We don't want that. Yeah, I know he lives in London normally. He just managed to piss everyone off by going to Cornwall during lockdown. Hi, James Chen, fellow Australian. Shade to Gordon Ramsay. I love Gordon Ramsay. I actually hadn't watched him ever in my life until lockdown, so make of that what you will. Okay, so now we've got the pan, and we'll just tip that all over into the baking dish, like that, preferably without spilling everything out. So, all of that into the thing, and then give it a good stir to mix the veggies in with the sauce. This camera work is beyond amazing. Yeah, okay. Who will? This camera work is beyond amazing. Hello.
Thought I'd hop on. So we've accidentally, our house have accidentally done 3. So we're doing a bit much here.
Oh, well, there you go. Who knew?
Thought I'd hop on. So we've accidentally, our house have accidentally done 3. So we're doing a bit much here. Why is it not? It's laggy.
Yeah, that's a bit laggy. Well, we're going to have food for an evening day, Bill.
How do I get off? So we're doing a bit much here. Why is it not? It's laggy.
Okay, Will left. Okay, so next step, once that's all stirred in, we'll get the pasta, bring that over, tip the pasta in as well. So get all of that in. Oh, huh? I said hi to you at the beginning, Mio, but hi again. Thank you for cooking along. I hope we're not making you wait too late for dinner. So once the pasta's in, give it a good stir. And then at this point, if you're using the grated cheese, chuck half of it in before you stir everything in together, and we're going to put the other half in at the end. So half the cheese, if you like cheese. If you don't like cheese, don't worry. But I happen to love cheese, so I'm going to put lots of cheese in. So give it a good stir. Make sure that the sauce is evenly spread throughout the dish. We don't want too much dry pasta on the top because it will burn very easily in the oven. So stir that for a while. Caroline, I'm glad you think it looks good. Okay, so once everything's stirred together, get rid of the cheese off the pan, and then we'll put the second half of the cheese over the top so that it forms a nice melted layer. There we go, and now final step, back into the oven for around 15 to 20 minutes. My oven runs a little bit hot, so I'll probably only do about 15, but 15 to 20 should be enough. But do keep checking on it just in case the top's burning too much, because you don't want that to happen. So keep checking on it as we go. Anyone know if Dan is single? Sorry, Alf. I think that's a no from me. Certain people would have something to say about that. Thank you, Leo. I agree. Finally, the final step. Yeah. Finally, the final step of the pasta, and I just flung a tea towel onto my head. Going well so far. So now we're gonna move on to the dessert, which I know a lot less of you are doing, but that's okay. Chocolate Tiffin, and that is basically with raisins, with some cocoa and sugar, and then you drizzle some melted chocolate onto the top. So to start with, get your baking tray, 15 to 20 centimeters. Put in a piece of baking paper, just like that, and we'll leave that to the side. Next, a saucepan, another one. 6 teaspoons of cocoa powder, 3 tablespoons of caster sugar into there. Then 150 grams of unsalted butter cut into cubes. And finally, for this step, I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of garlic. 1, 2, and 3. So now that that bit's done, we'll go back over to the hob and start to melt this slowly. This one. Really, really low heat, and make sure you keep stirring and whilst it melts, because if it's too high heat and you don't stir, then the cocoa powder is gonna burn to the saucepan, and you really don't want that. So very low heat, maybe turn it up if nothing's happening, but definitely keep stirring throughout the whole thing. So this is going to make the base of our tiffin, and then we're going to add some plain melted chocolate onto the top. Don't worry too much about this, cooking this as well. There's a lot. We wanted to do something in between whilst the pasta's cooking in the oven, so that we're not just standing here for 20 minutes doing nothing. I think you might run out of questions by then. Caroline, how's yours coming along? Alf, I noticed you when you first joined. Good, Caroline. Steve, what about you? Will, what about you? Have you guys sorted out your problem of having 3 different pasta dishes all trying to cook at the same time? Curious as over, thank you if you are, but I do not have spare time for that as much as I wish I did. It has actually crossed my mind a few times, but alas, we're not gonna. Caroline, that sounds good. So just keep stirring. Keep some out, obviously. Dan, having a YouTube channel would be amazing. I thank you for all the support, guys. I'm shocked that you're all this enthusiastic, but I appreciate it. Yeah, see, you say this as I managed to spill everything out of the pan. The cashew ricotta is being made. Iconic. Okay, so once your chocolate mixture is completely melted, take that off the heat. Hold the pot. Don't put it onto a cold surface of stone, because the stone really doesn't like it. So first we're going to put in a handful of raisins. Again, it's chucking everything everywhere. Handful of raisins to start with. Stir those in, and then 220 grams of crushed digestive biscuits. Iconic British snack. Are new here and never heard of. I'm sure you will hear of. Well, you've heard of them now, haven't you? But I'm sure you'll taste some very soon. Brits love these biscuits. They're basically just like plain sweet but not too sweet biscuits. They also make chocolate versions, which are obviously great. For the purpose of this, normal ones, nice and crushed. They crush really easily, which is nice. So we'll just keep stirring this up to try and get the chocolate mixture to go through all of the biscuits. Which is slowly making progress. So once that's all stirred up, we'll get our baking tin with the paper and put all of the in, just like this. Sorry about that camera angle. Get everything off the bottom of the pan. So in the pot, in the pot, in the tin. Then we'll spread that out to get a nice shape. Fill the side, spread it out to the corner. So that's that step. Next step is we're going to get 110 grams of dark chocolate, and we're going to melt them in the microwave. There's a nice quick way to do it. However, be really careful because chocolate burns very easily in the microwave. So I would never do it for more than 10 seconds at a time. And although that does take a little bit longer, it means that you're not going to burn to the bottom of the dish. Never a nice experience. So would not recommend. So after 10 seconds each time, we'll just take it out, stir it a little bit, make sure that, because it will melt more as you move it around. So just like that. We'll check that the pasta's not burning quickly, which it's not. Looks like it's cooking nicely in there. Let's see, do we have any comments? Dan, Steve, further behind in our government in March. That's saying something, isn't it? Steve, I'm sure you're not that terrible. I don't think that's humanly possible. But you know what? We're going to repost this video on YouTube, or Facebook, whichever one will let us do it. So if you missed this and you want to read it, check out those platforms once we re-upload it. I'm glad yours is going well, Jan. I'm glad. Zoe, thank you. Thank you to the RAM SU team for choosing the Chocolate Tiffin as the dessert, because I didn't have no clue what to choose. Also, secret, just between us, I didn't know what a Tiffin was, but now I do. So there you go. And I did test the recipe, obviously, before we went on this, because I wanted to make sure I didn't screw it up the very first time. That wouldn't have been very fun. So, just keep zapping the chocolate for 10 seconds at a time. Stir it after every what? Try and get as much off the spoon as I can. And drop everything everywhere, of course. Let's get this. Yeah, okay. We'll try and upload it to YouTube once it's done. We just need to figure out how to download the file from Facebook. But the original plan was to put it on the RAM YouTube channel. So if you're not, go and subscribe to that, and you can rewatch this in all its glory once we finish. And if you're ever lost of what to cook during the year, you can always come back to this and cook a nice pasta bake. YouTube, okay, it will be on YouTube. We'll figure out the way to make technology work. I almost got the chocolate fully melted. Probably about 1 or 2 more bursts in the microwave. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Yeah, exactly. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment. Yes, thank you, Ezzo. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get notified every single time we upload. One bit of YouTube. Has everyone seen Uncle Roger roasting Jamie Oliver's egg fried rice recipe? It's the most recent installment. Would highly recommend you go and watch it. It's thoroughly hilarious. So now chocolate's fully melted. Stir it all together. We'll come back over to the Tiffin tray, and we're just going to pour this nice and evenly over the top, trying to make sure that it coats as evenly as possible. So that you get a nice crispy layer of chocolate on the top. And then you get the soft, more biscuit cake-like at the bottom. So that's just about it. I understand that you're meant to cover the whole thing, but the amount of chocolate doesn't really work with that. But when I tested this the other day, it still tasted just as delicious. So once you've done that, just chuck it in the fridge, for which I should have made some space before we started this. Chuck it in the fridge for around 2 hours, probably minimum, but preferably overnight. And then you'll have dessert to go with your nice pasta bake. Yes, it's hilarious. I thought my microwave had started on its own just then. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad we're entertaining you. So, back to the pasta. Check that it's not burning, which we're all good for. It'll just be a few more minutes, not too long. Obviously, if yours is already done, make sure you take it out. The temptation to eat a Tiffin straight out of the saucepan is unreal. Thanks, Jan. Thank you for dropping in and cooking along with us. We appreciate it. Enjoy your food. The temptation, yeah, Hannah, I know. Huh? Oh yeah, Jan, take a photo and upload it to Instagram with tag at Ram Student Union so that we can see what you made and we'll share it. Thank you for coming. So let's see how our pasta bake is coming along. Obviously, the good thing about pasta bake is it's all like technically cooked before you put it in the oven, so that you can't accidentally undercook it, which is always positive. So let's have a look at this. So that looks pretty done to me. So I think that we'll stop there. Should we? There you go. So that's the finished dish. I hope it looks appetizing to everyone, and I hope that everyone cooking along has a nice evening and nice meal. We're gonna go eat as well now, shortly. But thank you all so much for tuning in and for cooking along to those that are. I hope this was somewhat helpful, insightful, not really insightful, but hope it was somewhat entertaining, and you can maybe cook this recipe again one day if you fancy it. Definitely at us on Instagram if you cooked it, and we'll share all of the results. And we may or may not do another cooking video, so stay tuned for that. Hit the notification bell. That was quick. Bye. Okay, Mio. Thank you for coming. See what I mean? That's a good point actually. It's very quick, so you can do this easily, and obviously you can skip the baking step if you want to. So really mix it up any way you want. Only just gone in the oven. Thank you, Will. I look forward to seeing what your 3 different house pasta bakes look like. So yeah, put them on Instagram. I know you will do that, Will. Steve, I want to see how yours turns out, although we probably won't hang around until it finishes, and Caroline, but make sure you post them on the Instagram. I'm very excited to see what was going on and how everyone cooked. Mine is going into great, Caroline. Cool. Well, that's pretty good. 55 minutes. That's quicker than I thought it was going to be. So thank you, everyone. We stayed pretty standardly at like 25 people most of the time. That's very good. We weren't expecting that many. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. I hope it wasn't too boring or offensive or negligent. I don't know. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice evening, and I'll see you all in the building hopefully soon.